Yahoo! Hello my friends, it is time for my annual predictions video. This is the big one, the most lavish production of the year. Weeks to produce, no expense spared. Here's the thing though, we're gonna have to cut back a little this year. It's been a crazy time in my life recently, so I gotta pull in the reins just a smidge. Don't worry, the really meaty predictions are all here, all the interesting stuff. I'm just not gonna go month by month and get into really fine details about every single little thing. I like doing that, but this time I'm really just focusing on the big game reveals. So here are my 2024 predictions. Here's all the stuff I think Nintendo will get up to. And as always, stick around to the end and we'll go over my 2023 predictions and see how I did. Abba haba ha 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 whoosh. 2024 will kick off with a Nintendo Direct in February. The presentation will begin with a cold open. The opening cutscene of Super Metroid, but totally redone. Yes, that is correct. This is a remake of Super Metroid. Developed by Mercury Steam, just as flashy and beautiful as Dread, with plenty of changes, such as the addition of the melee system. It will look wonderful, and Metroid fans will rejoice. Okay, so I try not to delve too deep into wishful thinking territory with these predictions. I try to be kinda realistic, but for this next one, the limb is cracking under my weight, and I do not care. This Direct will also announce Cave Editor DLC for Pikmin 4. Just doing it, I'm just gonna say it. You can make your own caves and share them. Just going for it. They'll announce some extra Dandori challenges too. Lots of great stuff. A DLC explosion for my dear Pikmin. Because why not? Later in the Direct, we'll get a new trailer for Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, and we'll be surprised to learn that it's getting some new content. The original game has this super long gauntlet called the Pit of 100 Trials, and the remake expands upon it, offering additional sets of trials requiring that you use certain badge loadouts for an extra challenge. Completing these grants you special new badges that weren't in the original. An unexpected surprise, but a welcome one. Then the Direct will end by announcing badge-related DLC for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This will be a new chunk of badge challenges, and it'll come with some wacky new badges as well. It will be cool, and people will enjoy making the obvious Doofenshmirtz meme, but will also be like, that's it? That's the Direct? No one more thing? Super Metroid and some DLC? That's all that we get? Little will we all know, though, that the year is just getting started. In April, the day will come. Nintendo will announce, then drop a video revealing their next system. It will be the Switch 2. If you missed it, I have a whole video outlining my idea for the system, so I won't go too deep into it here. The basic gist, though, is that it's a Switch, but obviously more powerful. One big difference is front and rear-facing cameras. But yeah, go check out that video for all the details. The Switch 2 will be scheduled to release in October. Soon after the reveal, Nintendo will announce a special Switch 2 presentation for June. And yes, this is the January 2017 Switch presentation all over again. Full console reveal, all features and specs and pricing and all that, plus loads of games. Let's talk about 5 of them. First is a new Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends Kyurem. Your character from Arceus, still stuck in the past, travels to an ancient version of the Unova region. The game deals with Black and White's legendary dragon trio and their origins. The box art legendary is the creature they used to be before they split. The game will look a lot rougher than it should, considering the power of the Switch 2, but it'll still look a heck of a lot better than Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. And this will be the first cross-gen Pokemon game. It'll release on Switch and Switch 2 in December, a few months after the launch of the new system. They won't want it to interfere too much with the other launch titles. We'll get to those soon. Next, they'll reveal Metroid Prime 4, baby, another one I'm just going for. That's right, gameplay and everything. I don't have a whole concept for it because the trailer will be pretty brief, mainly just showing off some basic combat, but it will be beautiful. Oh, it's gonna look so good, you guys. It's gonna be good. The game will be slated for sometime in 2025. Another 2025 game is Splatoon's first spin-off. It stars an Inkling who has been permanently trapped in squid form. Almost everyone else has been taken captive, and it's up to this squid-locked person to save the day. There's no shooting here, but you do get all sorts of crazy squid powers you don't get in normal play. This is more of a platformer, really. It's the crazy, twisty, cool level design of the campaigns, but dialed up to 11. The gameplay is very fast, lots more movement. The game is big on characters and humor, and your main speaking cast is made up of Judd and Lil Judd, who aid the main character. This is Splatooniverse Jam, and it will be a big attempt to expand the world of Splatoon. It'll also bring up a whole conversation about other potential Splatooniverse spin-offs, naturally. And now for our two major Switch 2 launch titles. The first is a new Nintendogs. Finally! This is Nintendogs Let's Play, and for the first time it only comes in one version with all the dogs and cats. And this time, fish! You get a fish tank and you can put little hats on the fish. Next gen, baby! The game offers the same Nintendogs gameplay we all know and love, but built around the Switch 2's new features. You'll be encouraged to take your pets for walks like in the old games. The Switch 2's camera and clip sharing function will encourage people to post videos all over social media. In the same way the old games used the microphone so your pets could recognize the sound of your voice, now the camera lets them see you. They'll even react differently when new people try to interact with them. And thanks to the Switch 2's open face dock, again, more on that in the video, your pets can chill on your Switch screen even when you're not playing with them. Then, of course, being on the Switch 2, the graphics will be incredible. These might be the most realistically rendered and animated dogs in the gaming space. So that's the casual, blue ocean-y launch title. But what about us hardcore gamers? Well, Nintendo's got our backs. The Switch 2 is launching with a brand new 3D Mario. This is Super Mario Future. I've been banking on Odyssey 2 for too long. I'm ready to give it up. Remember all those outlandish rumors about the next Mario being open world? Well, they weren't completely true, but they were fairly close. This is indeed one big interconnected world, but instead of a true open world sandbox, this is more like zones from Odyssey kinda stitched together. Plenty of areas to explore right off the bat, big focus on exploration, but you still gain access to new places as you go. This'll feel more like a traditional adventure game than any mainline Mario ever has. There are towns to visit, characters to meet, even little quests to go on, and another new thing for mainline Mario, he's got a hammer. It gives him some basic attacks and even aids in his movement. As Cappy did in Odyssey, this hammer lets you really control Mario's movement and string together a lot of cool jumps and stuff. The theme of this game, naturally, is the future. The whole game, Bowser's castle looms in the center of the Mushroom Kingdom, floating in the sky, and it looks a little less like his usual castle and more like a futuristic tower. Mario's hammer usually looks normal, but sometimes takes on this high-tech kind of look. Many enemies are future-y, robot-like versions of their usual selves. All over the place, you'll find doors that take you to this Tron kind of virtual subworld where the game will provide more traditional linear platforming challenges, so you got a good mix of both Mario styles. Running on the Switch 2, Super Mario Future will look incredible, and it will be as good a launch title as anyone could ever hope for. That's it for the big games, but this presentation will reveal other important details about the Switch 2 as well. There's pricing and NSO stuff, but again, all in the other video, sorry. A few things I forgot to mention in that video, though, is that the screen will still be 720p, and the system will most often display at 1080p. Sorry, no 4K. Also, the games will be $70 across the board, also sorry. Furthermore, not only will it be fully backwards compatible, but Nintendo will start releasing upgraded versions of their most popular games. Legacy upgrade launchers can be purchased on the eShop for $10. Then, if you either own a digital copy of a game or slot in a Switch cartridge, you gain access to the fancier new version with nicer graphics and performance and all that. Or if you're starting fresh, you can buy these Switch 2 versions physically for the usual $70 price. Newcomers won't like paying so much for such old games, but people who already own these games will be happy enough paying paying $10 a pop for the upgrades. At launch, there will only be 4 games in the Legacy Upgrade program: Tears of the Kingdom, Splatoon 3, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Animal Crossing New Horizons. But having those 4 updated, remastered games on store shelves, along with Mario and Nintendogs, will make for a very impressive launch lineup. More titles will be added to the program down the line, though not all will get physical copies. This whole upgrade thing will give us more stuff to beg for during each Nintendo Direct, so that's nice. Come on, Pikmin 4 upgrade. So that's it for the Switch 2 presentation. For the first time in many a year, there won't be a September Direct, but honestly, we won't need one. We'll all be wrapped up in Switch 2 hype, and we'll have loads of games releasing at the end of 2024, with multiple to look forward to already in 2025. Plus, leading up to the system's launch, we'll get plenty of additional presentations, treehouse live streams, that kind of stuff. Super Mario Future will get its own dedicated mini-direct. In October, the Switch 2 will launch, and it's gonna go over well. With such a strong launch lineup, plenty of people will be willing to immediately make that next-gen jump. Things will look really good for Nintendo heading into 2025 and their new generation of hardware. Oh, and finally, Nintendo won't be showing anything at the Game Awards. I think they're just pretty much done doing that. But Super Mario Future will be nominated for Game of the Year, and final big prediction, it's gonna win. Super Mario Future will win Game of the Year. You heard it here first. So before we wrap this up, let's do a little recap, because it's kind of hard to take in so much information so quickly. And we also work hard on some of these concepts and want you to look at them some more. In February, we'll get the only traditional Nintendo Direct of the year. Here they'll reveal a Super Metroid remake, extra content for Thousand Year Door, Cave Editor DLC for Pikmin 4, and DLC for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. In April, Nintendo will reveal their next system, the Switch 2. Then in June, they'll give us a huge presentation revealing loads of games. Pokémon Legends, Kyurem, an immediate follow-up to Arceus, exploring the origins of the Tau Trio. This will be a cross-gen title, releasing on both Switch and Switch 2 in December. Metroid Prime 4, which will look super duper awesomely, incredibly good, and be slated for sometime in 2025. Splatooniverse Jam! A humorous Splatoon spin-off starring a squid-locked inkling, also releasing sometime in 2025. Nintendogs Let's Play, which introduces fish and uses all of the Switch 2's new features. This is a Switch 2 launch title. And Super Mario Future, a grand open-world-ish adventure with a futuristic theme and where Mario has a cool hammer. This will also be a launch title. Additionally, Tears of the Kingdom, Splatoon 3, Smash Ultimate, and Animal Crossing will launch with the Switch 2 as part of Nintendo's Legacy Upgrade program. One final time, I will remind you to go check out my Switch 2 concept video, because there are loads of details in there that I did not mention here. And that, my friends, is what will definitively happen in 2024. That is what I think, nay, what I believe, nay, what I know Nintendo will do. And boy, I cannot even tell you how badly I hope that I am right about the next system launching in 2024, because if it ends up being 2025, I ain't coming up with a whole second different concept and plan. I am really putting all my eggs in one basket here and just hoping for the best. Before we go, one final thing. Let's take a look at last year's predictions for 2023 and see what I got right. I predicted that Nintendo would shadow drop a Direct Mini in January. That did not happen. I predicted that they would reveal Tomodachi Life 2. Wrong there, sorry. I know that one kind of hurts. I predicted a new Pushmo game called Splitmo, and it seems that as of this recording, the IP is still MIA. I predicted a new Art Academy game too, just for kicks, and that also, did that happen? Maybe I missed? No, that didn't happen, sorry, no. I predicted that Nintendo would finally launch Advance Wars Reboot Camp in March. They did it in April. I was actually pretty close on that one. Partial points? Then I wearily predicted an upgraded Switch, but even by that point, I knew it probably wasn't gonna happen. I don't know why, I went with it anyway, and it wasn't long before Switch 2 rumors completely brushed the idea aside forever, so Yeah, let's move on. I predicted that Nintendo would shadow drop a trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, actually revealing all of its cool new mechanics. They ended up doing a proper, dedicated direct for it, so that part was wrong, but it still got its own reveal presentation where they revealed the mechanics, so I don't know, it's worth something, maybe. I'm clearly desperate here, you guys. I predicted that the Mario movie would go over very well and make an easy billion at the box office. I got that right, but it wasn't really a surprise, was it? Unfortunately, I also doubled down on my most important prediction for 2023, that DK would fart in the movie, and sadly, that did not come to pass. Don't worry, there's always the sequel. Oh, speaking of which, I predicted the announcement of a 2025 DK spin-off movie, but still no word on that. Instead, we got Zelda. Lame. I predicted a Tears of the Kingdom treehouse thing revealing an expansion pass. That's a no, solid no. I said the game would turn out great, but still wouldn't have a proper crafting system, and I mean, it's not straight up crafting, but we did get kinda crafty stuff, so I was kind of mostly wrong, I guess, whatever. I predicted that we would indeed get a June Direct, which we did. We don't always, so that was kind of a good guess. I don't know. I predicted that Pikmin 4 would star all the protagonists from previous games. Wrong. And it would be delayed into 2024. Wrong. I predicted a whole new Mario and Luigi game, which Kane did some really incredible art for, and that didn't happen. But even if we didn't get that particular brand of Mario RPG, we ended up getting Super Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door instead. It's funny how everything possible happened except what I said, but I still think I came pretty close by predicting a new Mario RPG at all. In my defense, my guess seemed way more plausible than what actually happened. Also, I mentioned how Daisy would be in it, despite the fact that Daisy isn't ever allowed in anything more than party and sports games. And guess who showed up in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, despite the fact that she's never allowed in anything more than party and sports games? Hey, it ain't much, but I guessed that we would get a Mario RPG and that Daisy would be in something surprising. And I got those right. Give me a little credit. That's pretty good. Then I predicted that the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC would be one big chunk instead of two. Nope. I predicted that Illumination would release 2 Mario shorts, which they did not do, even though they really should. Why would they not? Minions get shorts. Mario can get some shorts. I predicted the reveal of Luigi's Mansion 4. We did not get that, but we got Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I'm taking half points for that one, at least. I predicted a Luigi's Mansion game, and we got one, darn it. Then I predicted a new Wario Land game, which also obviously did not happen, but Kane also did super good art for that one too, so I'm still happy. Finally, I predicted that Nintendo would reveal Metroid Prime 4 at the Game Awards, and that was pure wishful thinking, but you know what? Sometimes dreams come true, so you gotta shoot for the stars from time to time. I regret nothing. So yeah, altogether not the best year for predictions, but I got a couple little things kinda right. And it's like they say, it's like someone somewhere has said sometime, some points is better than no points. Don't worry, 2024, that'll be the year I get most of it right. I mean, it's gotta happen eventually, right? Just like, statistically, I gotta be right eventually. Yeah, that's the thing.